Can you give our audience a sense of how compensation works at a pre-IPO company, right? I know you've kind of worked at Google where you have that post-IPO. We'll get to that a little bit later. But how does it work for pre-IPO when the equity, the shares are not on the New York Stock Exchange or any exchange in general?
Ooh, that excites me, right? I want it to be a career
Mhm.
like pre-IPO hunter, right? And I've wanted to just get into one more pre-IPO and maybe call it a day, right?
Yeah.
Um,
You got a big
you
bank,
know,
right?
exactly. So for those of you that are thinking about exploring the pre-IPO space, it is a very exciting time. But the way that compensation works at a pre-IPO, in terms of base and equity,
Mhm.
let's say for example you're a software engineer coming in at 100, let's say 130 to 150 base, which is
That's
pretty
pretty good.
normal.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great for for industry standard. I believe we were starting off our entry level Swedes at around like 110K in the Bay Area.
Wow, that's really
So
good.
it was really good, right? And it's this is like a job fresh out of college. Maybe you interned somewhere and got $110,000 a year in base salary. In addition to that, you would also get a sizable amount of equity, right? And
Mhm.
when you look at pre-IPO equity, let's say, and this is just throwing out a rough number there, right? But let's say you came in at $110,000 base.
Mhm.
You would also receive, let's say, 10,000 shares that vested over the course of 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Um, so that's, if you think about it, that's 2,500 a year for the next 4 years. Um, but how some companies do, pre-IPO equity is from day one of employment to day 364 of employment, you get zero shares.
Mhm.
On day 365, you pass what's called the 1 year cliff, and you're granted 25%, or in this case, 2,500 shares all at once. And then from there, some companies break it up to where, you still get that same 2,500 shares a year, but it can be
Mhm.
broken up monthly, quarterly, depending on how that company's configured their, essentially their stocks. So really, really good to keep that in mind.